Patrick Celli on the left playing Rug Delver, and these two players are pretty good friends, actually.
That's cool. That's cool. Patrick with Rug Delver. If you're super old school, you might think of this as the new version of Canadian Thresh, but if you are more new school, you'll just say, hey man, cut it with the crazy names, Rug Delver.
Yeah. So Kovacs, we'll see who's on the play here. Again, he's got a ton of lands in his deck. Deck list is actually very, very hard to look at because it's all lands. There's a bunch of 1s and 2s, just a few 3s. Spells, of course, are going to be Life from the Loam. That's the engine that brings it all together. This is also a deck that does mulligan, 1, quite well, and B, quite often.
Yeah,
it's
now
looking for loam.
One of the things that's always fun about decks like this, we had a deck check on these two players to begin the round, and when you're looking at a list that has as many 1s as this has, man, I don't envy the judge that was doing this one. Actually, that judge said, hey, can you please trade places with me? I don't want to do the deck check.
Yeah, sorry, buddy.
Sorry, buddy.
Got bad news for you.
And if you are just joining us, there have been 14 different decks that have been played in the 7 matches we've shown you. 10 different archetypes. This is a lot of variance. I'm pretty happy to see that much diversity in our metagame here. Patrick Celli, Rug Delver. I think that this is the kind of deck that can actually fight against lands pretty well. Maze of It is one of the key cards to keep Bobby Kovacs alive for long enough. But Rug Delver can put on a pretty fast clock.
Yeah, he's got 3 copies of Maze of It in his deck. I'm actually going through his deck list right now to see what spells he does have. Exploration being a key one here.
That is such a card.
And that is a Bajuka Bog, just going to pass the turn back. So he's got 4 Life in the Lows, 4 Explorations, 4 Mox Diamonds for acceleration, 3 copies of Punish Fire, 3 Intuitions, 2 Engineered Explosives, a Zoran Orb, a Mana Bond, and then 2 copies of Crop Rotation. The rest of his deck is going to be lands, and as he does play lands, we'll of course have them ready to bring up for you guys as well, because there's certainly some very unique ones here. But the fact that a deck can exist in Legacy that is primarily lands, and its spells actually make it so they can put more lands into play, so you Life in the Loam, that
in nothing.
In and of itself makes Legacy a great format.
Exploration, one of the cards that I am going to turbo Force of Will when I get the chance.
Yeah.
We see a Tabernacle and a Rishadan Port coming down, and the first time I saw this deck being played, it was being piloted by one of my favorite Magic players, Rashad
Miller. Okay.
Yep.
I know he does like a land deck from time to time. You're going to see Wooded Foothills get out that tropical island. Not sure if Scalding Tarn's going to go fetching either, but now every creature's going to have an upkeep of 1 mana. There is the Tabernacle at $500. That one's a little expensive. Brainstorm here. And there's the card that holds it all together. As you do, Celli is going to resolve his Brainstorm, Legacy staple, of course. This is the card that holds the lands deck together. Life from the Loam. Dredge 3, preferably 3 lands. Get them back. Maybe you find a cycling land. Get to do it all over again. This is actually one of my favorite cards in Magic history.
Yeah, it is a great card. I know that one of my good friends, Ian DeGraff, he had said that Life from the Loam is the most broken, fair card char. So there's a little oxymoronicness going on there, but what he basically is saying is that when you've got a card like Life from the Loam, it doesn't feel like some of the crazy card draw, like say Enter the Infinite. It doesn't have that kind of feel to it, but holy crap, is it good.
Yeah. It's just an honest card. The card that's going to be revealed from your Taxing Probe is a copy of Mana Bond. Kovacs showing that over to Celli. So yeah, I just got this green enchantment that lets me just dump all my lands into play.
That is the sickest card for Bobby Kovacs to have right now. 1, 2, 3.
Croc is Mox Diamond and a mystery card there. Loam is going to be targeting the lands that are in the graveyard. And he's just going to do this every single turn. And he can play multiple lands a turn. If he does decide to play the Mana Bond, it's going to make it so that all of his lands are always going to come into play. He's got a port activation at the ready. Probably going to tap the green source from Tarmogoyf, and the Mongoose can't come into play and pass it back.
In my opinion, without any price of progresses in Patrick's list, this game is already over.
Yeah, I mean, he's got his engine online. You see Bobby's just sitting there rubbing his hands together because he knows that I've got my engine online. There isn't a darn thing you can do to stop it. You don't even have anything on the board, and if you do, you got to pay 1 more for it. Your deck operates on very few lands anyway, so every turn you're just going to see him go Dredge Loam, Cast Loam, Dredge Loam, Cast Loam, play the lands, pass it back.
From what I understand, these two players, you might have already mentioned this, these two players are friends and have played each other quite a bit. They already know this matchup inside and out, and 1, 2, 3,
Exploration, Intuition, and I think there's just one land there. I think it might be a Misty Rainforest that Kovacs did find. Of course, he's just going to cast it. Right now, he's just looking for a cycling land to be able to really just start getting the chain going. Misty Rainforest going to go back to hand, play that, pass it back yet again.
And upkeep, we are going to see the Rishadan Port, but first, looks like Patrick might have a Brainstorm. Oh no, he's just fetching there with the Wooded Foothills. There we go.
Now, some of the fun lands here in Kovacs' deck, he does have a Singleton Ghost Quarter, be able to take care of some lands that way. Of course, he does have Wastelands ×4 as well. One copy of Bajuka Bog, which you do see is in play to be able to take care of graveyards. He can find that via crop rotation. 2 copies of Teleria West. That's going to allow him to actually transmute for, you guessed it, another land. So it's going to kind of act as a demonic tutor in this deck. You see Tarmogoyf going to come into play. They'll do a quick count. We'll get our Tarmogoyf die out there for you guys on the screen. 1 copy of Caracas, which is in play. Those 3 Maze of Ith that you did mention a little bit earlier. 3 copies of Rishadan Port. Those 4 Wastelands that I did mention. But the fun part of the deck, this is where things really get interesting. 1 Academy Ruins. Get back that Zoran Orb with those Engineered Explosives. 1 Glacial Chasm, so he doesn't take any damage. 1 Tabernacle, which is obviously already in play. He's got just 1 Cycling Land and Tranquil Thicket, but then he's got 3 copies of Thespian Stage to go along with the 2 copies of Dark Depths. So that's how he actually kills his opponent, where before, lands had to play like Mirsha's Factory and Barbarian Ring to kill the opponent, or just hope they would tap out and just submit to what they were doing. Now they actually have a way to win the game. Stifle.
Oh, take that.
Get that Misty Rainforest out of here. Drudge alone.
So if you were Jerry Thompson and you won the Invitational coming up in Indianapolis in just a few weeks, would you make yourself a 2020 or would you make yourself into a satyr? I know he likes the idea of being a satyr.
Be a satyr. He's already a 2020. He doesn't need to make another one. But if it was me, I would. But satyr's pretty good.
I had forgotten about that 2020. Yeah. Oh, thank you very much. There we go.
Yeah, Jerry's already a 2020. I mean, I guess in theory he could just be a 2020 again.
Yeah, my bad.
Wouldn't surprise me too much.
And we have to worry about the Tabernacle out there. Here is the payment for the Tabernacle. After that, we see the Rishadan Port tapping the Volcanic Island, leaving a single Volcanic Island up. Patrick's side of the board is a 5/6 Tarmogoyf, Tropical Island, 2 Volcanic Islands, and he's added a Wasteland to the mix.
It's funny because even though Bobby has his engine online right now, he's not really doing very much. He's just loaming and dredging every single turn. So he's going to turn over 3 more cards. I think there's a Thespian Sage, a Grove, and then an Engineered Explosives among them. Now, if you saw Celli's hand, he does have a copy of Spell Snare in his hand, so basically he can pick a spot on when Spell Snaring the Loam is going to be the most devastating thing that he can do, and that's going to be a problem here. Additionally, he has a Wasteland that can take care of a Maze of Ith, the first one, so he's actually sitting pretty well right now. That Tarmogoyf is going to cause some havoc. As you see, he's going to return some lands here. He's going to get back a Wasteland, is Kovacs, to be able to take care of the other Wasteland, but he's causing some real trouble in this game. There's Thespian Stage, there's Wasteland.
Now, there are 2 red sources on Patrick's side of the board, and Bobby gets rid of one of them.
Doesn't want to get bolted to death.
Interestingly, gets rid of the tapped Volcanic Island.
There's a Grove of the Burn Willows, pass a turn back.
Looking for a Punishing Fire in that yard. I don't think I see one.
I'm going to see an activation here of a... no, Wasteland's actually going to pay for the... Wasteland's going to pay for the Tabernacle. Tarmogoyf's going to come across for 5. Port's going to tap down the Tropical Island.
He's trying to hold off the possibility of a Goose.
Another Wasteland. Kovacs sitting at 9.
You saw Bobby Kovacs there. His face actually looked worried for a moment. Mm-hmm. I don't blame him.
Thespian Sage is going to copy Wasteland right now.
That's a smart play. I like that. Untap. Bobby Kovacs looking for something.
Time to dredge. 1, 2, and 3. Maze of Ith among them.
There's a maze. That helps a lot, but that Wasteland ×2 in play. Okay. Lots of mana to work with for Bobby Kovacs. Casts this Life from Loam. Is this going to be the moment that we see the Spell Snare?
Yeah, that's my question too. See, Bobby is now Now he's a lot more cautious because now he's underneath pressure. He knows that, if a Tarmogoyf Wave comes across again for 5, it's going to put him down to 4. Then he's in double bolt range, stuff like that. There can be timely counter spells to counter the Loams. Those Wastelands can blow up Mazavith or, Tabernacle if he wants to do that, or blow up the Nespian stage. Even though there's a Crocus right now, makes it so the Nespian stage can't copy something else. So he's going to start by porting, it looks like Wasteland. Okay, now we're going to cast Loam, I think.
Nope,
we're going to
Thespian stage first. It's a Wasteland.
Yeah,
he's wasting the Wasteland.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if he's going to actually wasteland the blue-red land.
And I think we're going to see the snare right now.
I think he gets snared here for sure. Yeah.
Ouch. All of those plans.
Yeah.
He's like, man, I sure did put a lot of effort into this.
Yeah. If he has the blue-red land and then that resolves, I'm still not entirely sure how great it is. There's a Tabernacle payment, but now he's going to come across for 5 is Celli. I don't know if he has double bolt in his hand right now or not.
There is a goose.
There's a Daze and Brainstorm in the last couple cards. All right.
Bobby Kovacs in real trouble here.
Dredgepoos. Grove, 2 spells.
The furrowed brow of Bobby Kovacs.
Sitting at 4. And again, if you're Bobby, you want to keep going after the lands, so put the tension on with Tabernacle. That's your goal. But you're in a tight spot here as a lands player.
You're in a real tight spot.
So I think he wants to loam, I think he wants to loam back Wasteland. He wants to loam back Maze, and then another card.
There's the Maze. There's a Wasteland. And what you got?
That'd be Stage. Yeah.
Stage. Okay. He cautiously and gingerly picks them up.
Yeah.
Remember, the nimble mongoose, not something that the Mazavith can stop.
Mm-hmm. So he's gonna get those back, and again, I think Adrian, one of the cards in his graveyard is a Dark Depths that I don't think that we saw. So I think he has Dark Depths down there, and he wants to try to set up the Thespian stage Dark Depths skill, but it's just gonna take a little bit to be able to get there.
There's so many things he's so close to being able to do. You can see that Misty Rainforest in play, which is almost certainly just dead on the table.
Yeah, that doesn't do anything now. With Nimble Mongoose being a 3/3 and him being at 4, Misty Rainforest would actually cut a full turn off and put him staring down lethal. Nimble Mongoose is something that you cannot maze with, so can't imagine he's going to do that.
He's laid his 1 land that is allowed by the turn. He's still got Exploration, and he can always trigger. He wastes the Wasteland.
Okay.
He's praying for no lightning bolts, which currently doesn't exist there.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of people pray for that before. It does not work out very well. Is he going to tap now? Looks like he might.
Let's tap.
Oh,
boy, I didn't even know that bolt was in there.
He hit that from me.
That was pretty impressive. And Bobby not giving up, though. He can Thespian stage the Bojuka Bog, but he still dies.
Yeah, he still dies because it's a 1. And even if he Thespian stages the Bojuka Bog, it's Bojuka Bog when it comes into play. That happens, so you can't even do that to win. So,
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so that's it. So Patrick Celli with that lightning bolt is going to win game number 1 over Bobby Kovacs.
I thought that was over.
Yeah, Rug Delver up a game over Lance. Both these players, again, know each other very well, and they say that Lance is heavily favored here. But I've played against Rug Delver before, and I know that traditionally is not the case. It's a very, very close matchup because of things like you just saw, where you can cast a spell snare on a timely loam to blow things up. You can force of will a timely loam to make things difficult. And as we move over to the sideboards here, and we'll take a look at Kovacs first, things aren't as easy as they do seem. And I'll let you start here with the things that he can bring in to make things easier.
Are you talking about for Kovacs?
Yes.
For Kovacs, the things that can make things easier. Gosh, I mean, I feel like he's practically already got all of the stuff, but Chalice of the Void on 1 can turn off so much of a Rug Delver's plan. He's got also in that sideboard 3 Trinisphere, 4 Dark Confidant, and 4 Gross and Grip. Now, I don't know about you, I definitely like Chalice. Some people also like Trinisphere because this deck, the Rug Delver deck, runs so few lands. A Trinisphere can sometimes just keep you from being able to do anything, particularly when Orisha Port and Wasteland is attacking you as well.
Yeah, I don't know if he wants to board in that 3-mana spell. It's certainly appealing. to want to be able to board in Trinisphere in this particular matchup, because if you do resolve it, it's probably just lights out, much like Blood Moon is. But again, it does cost 3 mana, but on the flip side, he's decked it as Exploration and Mana Bond, so he could actually get to 3 mana pretty easily, take a draw step, hit a Trinisphere, and then that makes things really, really difficult. It does make your loam cost 3, so that's one thing to keep in mind, but I don't think that's the end of the world. As we'll move over to Celli's sideboard here, see if he has any Graveyard Hate. That's certainly a step. He's got Pithing Needle, Grafdigger's Cage, Tormod's Crypt, Crozen Grip, Ancient Grudge, Scavenging Ooze, Pyroblast, Red Elemental Blast, Rough Tumble, and Soft Elemental. Those are all one-ofs to go along with 3 Submerge and 2 copies of Flusterstorm. So we'll bring Grafdigger's Cage up on the screen for you guys to see, does this have an effect against Life from the Loam? Is the big question here, because he's obviously going to board in Tormod's Grip. That one's easy. You could argue he's going to board in Crozen Grip maybe to take care of an Exploration or a Mana Bond. Not sure he's going to do that, but you see Grafdigger's Cage on the screen. Creature cards can enter the battlefield from graveyards or libraries. Players can't cast cards in graveyards or libraries, so that's not going to do anything to Life from the Loam returning land, so that's going to stay put. Ancient Grudge, meh, not so much here either. Scavenging Ooze, however, yes.
That guy's a monster.
Yeah, that's going to come in. Red Elemental Blast, Pyroblast, obviously staying in the board. Rough Tumble, Sulfur Elemental, staying in the board. Submerge, staying in the board. Flusterstorm, again, staying in the board. So not a lot of options in this matchup for stuff to bring in, but it is nice that if you're Celli, you do have some cards that are very, very good against the graveyard and Tormod's Crypt and Scavenging Ooze. Not sure he's going to aggressively mulligan to those, but you certainly do want to draw one of them.
In that game before, that first game, Bobby Kovacs, he was hunting for 5 cards with his constant Life from the Loam action. A Tranquil Thicket to really make things get explosive, a Tolaria West to actually just go get a Zuran Orb or something else that's just really powerful, get the combo going so that he can get the Thespian stage with the final kill, getting a 20/20 out, getting Academy Runes, bring back the Engineered Explosives from the yard, or even just get a Glacial Chasm. But all of that dredging, he was unable to find any of those key lands.
Could find no answer. So Bobby Kovacs is going to be on the play for game number 2 here. And again, him and his friend feel like that that Lance is super favored in this matchup against Rug Delver. But take a look at the scoreboard. That's all I got to say to that.
The call to the scoreboard.
That's right. Look at the scoreboard now, Saka.
Bobby Kovacs here on the play. Starts out, cracks a fetch land, and I expect we're going to see an Exploration, or we're going to see a Mana Bond. Tropical Island hits play.
Got a 1-mana spell over there, my friend? Time to find out. It's going to be an Exploration. That's the best one that you can have. And, you know, Kovacs could play multiple copies of Mana Bond like this deck used to before, but it always started with full Exploration. That's the thing that really turns the deck on. There's a Grove of the Burn Willows to start things. As we do find out right now as well, as you'll see, Celli is going to start with a Delver of Secrets, that Dan Musser, our standard finalist, is sitting at 4-1 at the card table. He is playing a blue, white, and lightened Tutor, Rest in Peace, Energy Field, Helm of Obedience, all of that good stuff deck this weekend. So wasn't able to capture a standard title, but he's going to try again in Legacy.
Yeah, I spoke with him at the beginning of the tournament, and I asked him what he was playing, because you said he'd been on Zoo for a while.
Yeah.
He showed me the list, and he was like, yeah, it's kind of a piece of crap. But I guess he's wrong, because he's winning.
Yeah, I mean, it's working out just fine so far.
2 more lands. We also see added to the table a Mazavith and a Caracas.
Both of those lands are pretty good. Caracas not great in this matchup, but Mazavith is going to blank that Delver of Secrets. Now we just need to find a Loam, so I don't think we found one just yet if you're Bobby. Or does he have one in the graveyard? I apologize.
I think that is a Life from the Loam.
Okay, yeah,
yep, there it is.
I apologize.
In for 1. Nope. Mazavith. Yeah. Brainstorm. Main phase 2. So you're facing off against Bobby Kovacs. He has a Life from the Loam. He has an Exploration. He has 4 lands in play, including 1 Mazavith. You can't be feeling good right now if you're Patrick Celli with Bobby Kovacs here at 19.
I mean, this is what the last game looked like, too, to be fair. I mean, without the Mazavith, obviously.
The Mazavith is that's a big changer.
Yeah.
Of course, Patrick Celli does have 4 Wastelands that will be able to get 1 hit in before the Life from the Loam returns things to the fore. Remember, Tormod's Crypt does exist in Patrick's sideboard. And as you brought up before, Scavenging Ooze does exist in the sideboard, so those could be here to help out.
There's no Mongoose, which you cannot Maze of Ith due to it being untargetable. But the one thing, too, is that this Kovacs is going to dredge a Life in the Loam. We're going to see 3 cards here. Chalice of the Void, I think Punishing Fire, and a Mystery card there. But one thing is that, if he had a Tormod's Crypt last turn, he's obviously going to use it immediately on the Life in the Loam, because you just want to take care of those just as soon as you possibly can. It's time to loam away. I assume it's time to loam away. Okay, it's like, and the land there that he's going to return with Life in the Loam, obviously casting, is a Ghost Quarter. So he's going to put that in the graveyard to go along with that Punishing Fire and Chalice. Now, you see the Grove of the Burn Willows in the house can get back that Punishing Fire.
A second Grove of the Burn Willows means that he has even more possibilities of being able to push some amount of damage onto, say, a Tarmogoyf. When it does take mana, it takes 3 mana to be able to punish and return, so...
And he was going to play another Grove, but he said, actually, I'm going to play a Fetch Land first, so I can actually cast Life in the Loam and get that Fetch Land back if I have another one in my hand. Does he have another Life in the Loam in the hand? Not quite sure. There's a Ghost Quarter. I love this.
Oh, boy.
Because Ghost Quarter's Wasteland in this matchup.
Yeah.
It's actually, Wasteland / Strip Mine in this matchup.
And that has to be very devastating if you're Patrick.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things about Legacy, I mean, we saw with, it's kind of employing the same strategy with, like, Blood Moon decks are, which is you have no basics. So I'm going to punish you for having no basics and being very greedy with your mana base. Ghost Quarter is just going to act as Wasteland number 5 in my deck. And I think that's awesome. I think that's a great thing that his deck can do. Maze of Ith going to untap the Insect Aberration, just going to take 1 Will Kovacs, go down to 17. There's a Wasteland, there's a Tarmogoyf. So he's filling up the board pretty well as Celli, putting a lot of tension on that Maze of Ith. So we're going to see a Dredge from Life in the Loam. We'll figure out what those 3 lands are going to be. A Tropical Island to go along with a Crop Rotation, and then a Mystery card there. We're obviously going to see Life in the Loam get cast this turn, so we'll find out more as soon as he casts it.
It looked like a land to me, I bet.
Yeah, chances are. Chances are.
Okay. Life from the Loam. Right now, Patrick is looking at Bobby's graveyard. Now Bobby's taking a turn. What has he got? He brings out a Misty Rainforest, a Ghost Quarter, and a Tropical Island.
He's probably just going to be in the land destruction plan for a little while here. Again, he gets to play 2 spells a turn, or 2 lands a turn, excuse me, so he's going to go Ghost Quarter that. My Fetch Land.
Ghost Quartering the Wasteland ensures that unless Patrick has another Wasteland, Maze of Ith will be able to hold back the Tarmogoyf.
Yep.
We see the Grove able to bring back Punishing Fire. Punishing Fire potentially able to kill that little insectile aberration. It knows the secret, but maybe it's dead. Yep, it's dead.
It's dead. Get that out of here.
Patrick Celli, if he's not already at threshold, he's got to be pretty close. But, okay. Tormod's Crypt. Boom.
I think did he catch both loams or just one? I think he only catches 1 loam in that. I think. Maze of Ith going to untap Tarmogoyf. Damage going to come across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so threshold there.
Right on the nose. The Tormod's Crypt not only devastating in that way, but also the 7th card in the graveyard.
Okay, so there's another loam in Kovacs' hand, so he's actually doing okay. When this deck doesn't have loam, it is like the most embarrassing deck ever.
It's a sad panda.
Yeah, but when it has loam, it's like it's so good. I'm gonna pass the turn back. Okay, Spell Snare.
Wow. I
guess to grow Tarmogoyf, maybe just as a joke. I'm not quite sure. I mean, these two guys are friends, and Celli thinks that the matchup is terrible for him. He's going to take 3, put Kovacs down to 10. Spell Snare is a little surprising, though, because like Spell Snare actually was a card that ended up helping him win game 1. 1, 2, and 3 for the Dredge.
Another Grove of the Burn Willows. Cast that Life from the Loam.
3 spells.
Target nothing. That's pretty impressive on that Dredge from the Loam.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to do.
In for 3 again.
Yep, puts you to 7. He has Bolt in his hand, does Celli, but he doesn't have a red mana right now.
Oh, did he draw? He drew. He's like, I drew. How did I do that? He looked at his hand as soon as he did it. He's like, oh man, I did it. In they come again.
Untap.
Stifle. Is that
dead?
it? Is that the game?
Oh my God.
Oh, Bobby Kovacs taken down 2-0 by Patrick Celli. Patrick, a hearty laugh. Pretty happy. Oh boy.
I don't know what the top card of his deck was that he turned over there. Obviously, in sheer disappointment, maybe I have no idea. But wow, for a matchup that these two guys felt was really, really bad, obviously it's not as bad as it looks. And again, I'm not terribly surprised that Rug Delver wins here because I think the matchup is favorable for lands, but there are a lot of things that Rug Delver can do that are timely to make it so it's not just game over. You can have timely Stifles, timely Spell Snares, timely Force of Wills. You do put on a relevant clock on your opponent and force them to have Maze of Its. And you don't need a lot of lands to operate, so the fact that they can Wasteland lock you isn't that big of a deal if you just have like one red land or a fetch land. And you're just like, all right, bolt you. Bolt you again.